Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of From the Heart. I'm your host, Chloe Trca, and this is a podcast where we talk all things health, wellness, business, lifestyle, mindset, my faith. I like to take you guys through anything I'm walking through and give advice and talk through my experiences and share what I've learned in hopes that I can better help you guys navigate whatever journey you're on. Because let's face it, being a woman in your 20s is difficult, it's hard, and we're always learning, we're always growing, and I just want to help you guys grow into the best versions of you based upon the experiences that I'm going through. It's kind of like a big sister chat, I like to think of it as. And today's topic is going to be a very important one, I think, for a lot of you guys. On my social medias, if you don't follow me on Chloe Trca, on this podcast From the Heart, on Heavenly Chats, my other podcast, on TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, I always like to interact with you guys and ask, like, what are you struggling with? What do you need guidance on? Where do you need help? And with my company, Alora, we've really leaned into this. And I asked about like womanhood and the struggles within womanhood and where's our confidence struggle. And I would say most people, most women respond, unfortunately, saying they struggle with their relationship with health. And like mainly within health, like exercise and nutrition. And so this episode I want to dedicate just to walking you guys through the different tips that I have applied into my life and the different tools that I've applied and utilized to help me heal my relationship with food and exercise and grow into a healthier human being in general and just truly feel like free from that. Those chains have been broke. The food noise is gone. The workout, exercise, resting guilt is gone. I don't want to make it seem like I'm perfect and I've completely I don't ever struggle with this. I definitely have days or weeks and points in my journey where it's harder than others. But I can say that this has definitely been a journey for a long time, and I have learned so much along the way. I met so many people who've given me so much advice, and I just want to sum it all up to you guys in a list of tips. I don't even know how many tips there are. There's like 10. Usually I have like them numbered, but there's 10 or 11 tips on just healing your relationship with food and exercise. So if you guys are new here and you don't know much of my journey, like I said, I didn't always have the healthiest relationship with food and exercise. I think we all struggle at some point in our life, unfortunately. And I think with social media and the fitness industry booming the last 5 to 10 years, I think it's really taken a toll on both men and women. And I think it's really important to be educated. That's what's really helped me the most. This isn't even a tip, but this is just part of my journey. It all started back in high school when I got into health and wellness and nutrition. I feel like wellness wasn't even like a word back in like 2015, 2019 era. I feel like wellness as a whole is something that's like a newer talked about idea. But back then I was like in the nutrition class in my high school and I was dabbling in sports and I was getting into the gym and weight training and doing all these things. And I loved it. Like it was natural to me. I felt good. And I think that's the beauty of just wellness overall is it makes us feel so good and you can just get so much more out of life when you feel your best. And so I got hooked because I had so many unhealthy habits because I was eating Pop-Tarts my freshman year of high school every day for breakfast. Like that's so funny to think about. I was eating Pop-Tarts. Like I can't tell you the last time I had a Pop-Tart. But like the way I ate, I just ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And I was always an athlete. So I was always exercising regularly. But once high school hit, I think you just kind of start to mature and you start to, unfortunately compare and like you want to look a certain way and you have this image in your head. And as an athlete, it was never a concern until I think I kind of stepped away from sports more and poured more into the gym. And it was more my control rather than just showing up to practice and doing the workouts. Because I did some really, I was in all-star cheerleading for so many years of my life. And that's like an intense workout. Like I was training all the time. I was in really wicked good shape. And I didn't really have to think much because I would just show up to practice and work out like every single day of the week practically. I was in volleyball, I was in club volleyball. I would have like so many things going on. But once I think I got to the age in high school where I was no longer cheering, I was just doing like school sports and I was training on the side. I really understood the power of it, but I was undereducated. But I feel like for my journey, I was just uneducated. And for example, like I thought low calorie meant healthy rather than like a nutrient packed meal is where your nutrients comes from. And that's where health, is created from, and that's what's important rather than your macros. So I was eating super low calorie for a long time and I was under fueling and I definitely lost a ton of weight and I lost my period for a bit and it got really unhealthy. So I had to learn to like refuel and regain my relationship with food, and it definitely was hard on me because I had to put on weight and I was like trying to navigate like what to eat, what not to eat. And I would say this was around the boom of like fitness influencers, social media, all this stuff. And I kind of poured into the macro friendly, got into the gym, started lifting super serious, and I just poured into it. But again, I was still pretty undereducated on fitness until I got my CPT, which is like my certified personal training like certificate. And so that taught me so much about like recovery and rest and the proper way to train, progressive overload, like all of these tools and all this information that I can now utilize and understand. But before I knew any of that, like I would just train insane all the time. I would like go to volleyball. I remember this distinctly this one time, and this was like in the depths of like over exercising. But I had an early out from school. So we got done at like 1 o'clock. I went to the gym for an hour and a half, and then I came back and then went to volleyball practice. And like, why did I need to stack a gym on top of volleyball practice? And I think I had something like maybe club practice after. Like, I had so many things going on. I was training for track, like on a club team. I was also in a gym class, and then I was doing volleyball, club volleyball. So I'd have like 3 workouts a day sometimes, and it was just a lot. It's crazy to like look back on that season of my life just because I was so uneducated on like the proper nutrition when I'm training to that volume. Because when you're an athlete, it's not like I was over training going to practices, but it's like those are 5 days a week, and then I had tournaments on the weekends. Like I just never had rest. So it was important now that I understand the power of that and understand the power of like properly fueling. Yeah. So anyway, that's part of my journey. I'm here now, and I've went through a lot. And again, even being just like a content creator in the fitness industry for so many years, like I was a big fitness creator in like the gym era. Like that was my jam. I feel like that was where I kind of got my start on social media, and that's what I'm like known for. But so many things have changed as I've matured and grown in my journey, and I really hope that this can help you guys. The number one, and this isn't in like particular order, but I did kind of go off the first things I could think of, and typically those are the most important. But the first thing that truly healed my relationship with food is prayer. This, I think, was what did it, like finally finish the up and down, the constant tug and pull, the constant battle, where it was like I was good for a week or a month, and then it like had something go bad. I was good for a week or a month, and then something would go bad. And I would go kind of down like a spiral up until I started praying to God and asking him to heal me rather than me trying to do this all on my own. Like he's the one who got me through the finish line and who has like kept me stable and sturdy and like constant on this healing journey. And he really revealed so many things. And a lot of these tools that I'm going to talk about are like things that God revealed to me and introduced to me in my healing journey. And so I think that's so beautiful, but I really encourage you guys to like sit down and pray and like ask God before every meal, ask him to bless this meal, to nourish your body, to heal your relationship with food, with this meal, allow the like negative thoughts to like be gone and to only hear from him. Like have those conversations before you eat every single meal, and it will help. That is seriously what really changed it for me, because I was constant. I think I eat 3, 4, 5 times a day. So every single time I'd have a snack or a meal, I would pray before, and that consistent, conversation with God, like it helped and it healed me, because he can perform those miracles when you're in the depths of like maybe an ED, or you're in the depths of like an oversize addiction or whatever it is, over exercise addiction. Like you feel like there's no go, like there's no breakthrough. Like how will you ever like unlearn or like let go of these habits and these toxic thoughts? But like God can actually erase them, and I promise you, and I really encourage you guys to like lean into that. But if prayer isn't your thing, the next thing that God actually introduced to me was like the power of eating whole foods and nutrient-packed foods. And I talk about this a lot on here, but it's just such a huge part of this journey for me because I, like I said, was a huge macro friendly, huge, like if it fits in the macros or if it's like low sugar, filled with all these artificial things, I thought it would keep me leaner. It was more macro friendly, but actually all of the processed things in these products, all of the chemicals, all the artificial junk that they pipe in these things and fill it with actually left my body worse off. I was very inflamed. And even now, like if I, don't eat something whole food for a few days and like traveling or something, but I really do like notice such a difference in my body when I'm doing this. And it's so crazy because this was like a recent thing I learned probably a year-ish ago and started implementing. My boyfriend's a huge holistic guy. He actually had Crohn's and colitis, so he has went through so much with his gut health and like healing himself with food. And it has really inspired me, and he's taught me so much. And it's really been cool to take a more holistic approach. And that's why I do the things like parasite cleanses, or I take certain supplements, or I, stop doing certain things. And like he was like crawling out of his skin when he found out I was drinking meal like every single day. When he met me, I was on 75 hard. So I was drinking a gallon of water a day, and I could not just like drink a Stanley with plain water like right here like I can now. I was like literally living off meal. It was so bad. And he's like, Chloe, like that is so not good for you in that large of quantities. And so just over time, cutting these things out and realizing to just like focus and press into whole food, nutrient packed foods like helps. And I think that's kind of what reduced the food noise, because when you're eating a whole food, like you don't really overeat a whole food. Like you're not going to overeat ground beef, or you're not going to overeat squash or avocado or cottage cheese. Like your body can actually do what it's meant to do and send you those like chemical signals into your brain that are telling you like, I'm full, like I'm done. You're not feeling deprived. You're not trying to like want the brownie, but you eat the artificial brownie because it's kind of the same thing, but not really. Like you're better off just like eating the brownie, or like, than like doing like the in between, because you're not actually satisfying that. And I feel like that's when the food noise like really cranks up, because then it's like, oh, then I want this, then I want this, then I want this. I've been there. Like I've been that person in like the cupboard at night where it's like, oh, I need something sweet, so I eat something sweet. But it was like a macro friendly kind of thing. So it didn't actually like satisfy that sweet craving. But then I had so much sweet, I wanted something salty. And then I went from salty to fruity. And it was like a whole cycle. And I was like almost like a binge cycle. But if I would have just like eaten like a real whole food, like dessert, or like I love my bone broth hot chocolate at night. That was my jam this winter. I think that'll be a reoccurring theme in the winter. Now that it's summer, I'm into like frozen mango. I'm into dates with peanut butter and chocolate chips. I have like other whole food based like desserts and stuff, but also to like portioning out. This isn't even a tip, but like learning to like actually just make myself a whole serving of bone broth hot chocolate, or like put 4 dates out on a plate, or get a bowl of mango. Like portioning out things has been really, really helpful for me, because I would just like eat out of the bag, and then that's when like the mindless snacking came to be, and that was a huge struggle for me as well, was snacking. But again, I was always snacking because I wasn't just like eating whole nutrient packed food, so I feel like I was never like fully satisfied. And I feel like my nutrients was never met. And so I was always like craving all these other things, which is really interesting. So I really encourage you guys to start eating whole foods. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm not saying to never eat anything that's not. I can promise you, you will feel so much better, and your body will thank you if you make that transition from like the macro friendly, sugar-free, processed junk, to eating like more nutrient packed whole foods. It really, really will change your life. And then the third thing is to stop obsessing over how you look and start focusing on how you feel. I don't want you to obsess on how you feel, because obsessing over anything is not healthy, but focusing on how you feel versus how you look will change your life. I think it's honestly really toxic, because you begin to idolize your physique. You begin to idolize what you look like. And that's just not what God calls us to do. We should never put an idol over anything. And it's very easy to idolize like your appearance and your physique and your training. And it's not good. Like we're not called to do that. That's sinful actually. So, learning to focus on how I feel and how I show up. Like I want to show up excited, happy, energized, full of life, and feeling good, because I can show up to the people in my life, to my career, to you guys, like to anything better, and I can give more, and I can get more out of life. And I think when you're depriving, when you're restricting, when you're overtraining, you're freaking tired. You're exhausted. You have low energy. You're going to pass out. Like you just need a nap. Like your body feels terrible because it's not recovering. Like you're not priming yourself. You're doing like quite literally the opposite. And it can be really frustrating though, when you're, training and like you think you're doing all these good things for your body, and like you're trying to eat macro friendly and trying to look a certain way, and you think you're doing what you're doing is healthy, but it's leaving you feeling terrible. It's like, because that's not actually what's good for your body. Like rest and low intensity stuff is okay, and it's great for women actually. And like nutrient packed foods rather than whole foods, like eating these or nutrient packed whole foods rather than these artificial sugar free foods will actually make you feel good. But it can be so frustrating when you're like, I'm doing everything right. Like I'm trying so hard. I'm showing up to the gym every single day, 7 days a week, giving it my all. But it's like, no, you'd actually see more results if you just like gave yourself rest and you focus on feeling good and sleeping and hydrating and fueling and doing all the things you need to be doing to feel good. And when you rewire that, I think it changes your actions and it changes your goals and it changes your mindset. And a lot of that like restrictive, negative head noise goes away with training, and the guilt of taking a rest day goes away, and the guilt of I don't know, eating or something, like food becomes fuel. Food becomes something to restore and replenish your body with. Rest is something to restore and heal your body with. Like they're tools at that point. So you honor them because you know like the benefit that it brings as well. And that's like feeling good. But I really encourage you guys this because this will help like with the mental side of all of this so much, is to focus on how you feel rather than how you look. And then the fourth one is to stop restricting anything. So I know I'm sitting here preaching like eat whole foods, but I don't want you guys to like restrict yourself of like anything and everything that's not a whole food, because that's not healthy. Like obsessing over anything is not healthy for the mind. And so therefore it's not healthy for you. And so I want it to be a very like natural, healthy manner, like balanced, you know, like the 80-20 a lot of people live by. And I think that's great. It's like 80% whole foods, 20% maybe not whole foods. Like I don't eat 100% whole food. I probably eat 80-20. But you will feel significantly better. But I don't want you guys to restrict or pull anything out of your diet, like no carbs, no fats, no proteins. Like macronutrients are macro, meaning we need a lot of them for a reason. And like people who go gluten-free, even if they're not gluten intolerant, or dairy-free, even if they're not lactose intolerant, it's like you don't need to be removing these things out of your diet if it's not a requirement. So don't restrict anything, because that's when it gets really hard in the head and you start thinking about things and focusing and idolizing all these things. And that's when we spiral, and that's when it can like overtake our day. And like all you're thinking about is your next meal, your next snack. Like it's always in the back of your head. Like I don't have that anymore. And it's like the most freeing feeling ever. Like it's insane, because I truly never thought like that would go away, but it really, really does. The next tip is to eat full, like portioned out balanced meals. Don't just snack your way through the day. I used to be a huge snacker, and I think this stemmed from being like, oh, like I'll just eat a few snacks and I can eat more throughout the day. But like that's not healthy, because I was overeating, I was over snacking, I was never getting a full nutrient like dense meal and a full like I wasn't eating enough of the right nutrients. You know, like when you're snacking, you're not getting a balanced portion meal. You're getting like maybe straight carbs and then maybe straight fat and then maybe straight protein, but it's not like protein, carbs, and fats all together. Like they kind of go all together for a reason. And so quit the snacking. I really kind of gave up snacking for me personally. Not saying it's a bad thing, because I do snack every now and then, but it's like snacking was such a negative, unhealthy habit for me, because it was like replacing meals, and two, like it was just like a bad habit. It was a really bad habit. And I think if you just eat a balanced portion out, like nutrient packed meal, you don't really get as hungry throughout the day, because your body's like getting what it needs, and it will like last you until the next meal. You know, like you're not sitting an hour after breakfast because you're eating macro friendly and it's not really that nutrient packed, and your body's like, oh my gosh, I need more nutrients now. After an hour, it's like I can like sustain myself from breakfast to lunch to dinner, then I have my sweet treat at night. So it's like the snacking is just, it's like you think it's a cheat code, but like it's actually just like the worst the worst code. It caused a lot more harm than good for me. The next one is to, and this is like a different, you know, approach, different tip than what I have been giving, but it's like find a healthy support system. Find people like around you who have a healthy relationship with food, who have a healthy relationship with exercise, and have them like around you, because you become who you're around. So you'll begin to like see that in them, and you'll like, I think it begins, it's like healing. It really is healing. I think I give a lot of credit to my boyfriend, because not that I've ever dated guys who like made it hard. I know some women do, and that's a struggle for some women. Not my case, but Kyler, my boyfriend now, has been like so helpful in this area of my life, because he doesn't struggle with this. So for him, it's like so easy to like view food as fuel, and to like make sure we have nutrients in our meals, and to make sure we're resting and recovering, and teaching me about like the power of like a superfood, you know, or whatever it is. It's like he's been very, very helpful, just because he's been very comforting and healing, and he cares about his health. And so I think he's kind of like an example for me. And he sets a really good example for me, but I think your friends also like pour into you just as much. And so it's like you don't want to have friends who enable the behavior of like anything unhealthy. Like Kayla and Maddie are great examples for me to be around all the time, because they have passed with EDs. Maddie's now like a registered dietitian who helps women like heal from EDs. Kayla helps women. Like they are just the best people to be around, and they've taught me so much. And it's just really, really helpful to have those people who are actually building you up rather than like enabling any negative behavior. And then the next thing is to move in a way that honors your body. Move out of love, exercise out of love. I think when I was obsessed with exercise, I kind of viewed it as like a discipline, or a punishment or a way to like take away from my body to like lose calories and burn fat and build like whatever. It wasn't building muscle. It wasn't getting faster. It wasn't better performance. It was more of like a negative perspective. And I felt like it was something I had to do rather than something I got to do. And not to say every day I want to go to the gym, but I do like exercise and do whatever I need to do. Because I know it's good for my body. But back then it was like a forced thing for sure. And I was training just because I feel like I had to rather than because I wanted to. And I did it, I guess I did it out of like hate for my body rather than love for my body because I wanted to like manipulate the way it looked and change the way that it looked. And it's like, that's really not to me what's so important. It's like how I feel now. And it's like, that's why I do such a variety of training. And that's why some weeks I run more. That's why some weeks I walk more. That's why some weeks I do solid core more or high rocks or lifting. Like I do whatever I need to do that week to feel good. And it's been so good for me because I have such a variety. Like I always have something I can go do, rather than like forcing myself to do something that I feel like I'm doing it more out of like hate and a punishment rather than love and honoring it, to be healthier and youthful. And it's so healthy to be like active. Like that's what like gives you longevity in life. Like I want to be a grandma who can like run around and play with my grandkids and be healthy and like agile forever. And so I'm doing things like that now to be proactive for my future. Okay, this is a big one too that I feel like I've learned and understood recently is to like accept a softer life. I was so in this like hustle culture mindset, like David Goggins mode all the time. And there's still a little bit of that in me, like every now and then. But like I lived and breathed it. Like I was a 5 a.m.er. I was at the gym like every single day. Like I was doing all these really intense, hardcore things. And it was creating a lot of like stress on my body. And I feel like I didn't give myself enough like grace. And like we're women, we're females, like we're built different than men. And I think a lot of it stemmed from just growing up with two brothers, like a male dominant house. And I never had a sister. I feel like I always got along with guys better. And so I kind of just took on this like masculine energy, and it definitely bled into this area of my life because I was so hardcore and I was so intense. And I never just like went to Pilates or went to solid core, just like went for a walk. Like it was always something super intense, like running or high rocks or lifting. And it's like I still have those in my life because I do enjoy them, but I also give myself more grace and like accept like it's okay to like give yourself more grace during the luteal phase or during certain phases of your cycle, or if I'm just not feeling it, or if I'm having like an emotional day, like just honoring where I'm at as a female. Like we're different than men. And I don't need to be like training like my boyfriend or my brothers. Like I can train in a way that honors myself because I am different and we're built different. We have different needs. And so what we do is going to look different. And so I think accepting just like a softer, slower, less hustle culture life has been really healing for me because that's, I think, what's helped remove a lot of the guilt for like taking a rest day or doing something, that isn't on my regimen or my plan, breaking plan, because I need it, because that's what I need is a break rather than no pain, no gain mindset of like breaks are for people who are quitters. Like, no, like that's just not the case. Like it's actually more beneficial and more productive for us to rest a lot of the times than it is to like train. And that brings me to the last one. And this is to this mindset I took on, and I love it. And this is something I think I'll carry through the rest of my life to always encourage me, but it's to remember I'm healing myself for my future family, to break generational curses. I don't want to carry any negative, harmful relationship with food or exercise that I may have had. I don't want to carry that into my family, and I don't want my kids to see that, experience that, learn from that. Like I want to have a very healthy relationship with these things so I can set an example for my kids, because I never want my kids to experience those things, and I never want them to walk through that season of life. And I'm healing so then if they do for some reason walk through that, I can be like a resource, I can be an outlet, I can be wisdom and be able to guide them through that based upon the healing and the the advice that I've like learned. And that's why I share here, because I want you guys to heal for your future kids and their generations to come. Like I want to be that like chain breaker and the generational curse ender. Like that's again where I tie my whole faith into it, is like God has the authority over all of this. Like it truly can be healed. It's going to take action for sure, but going to him and applying a lot of these I think will help. But if you can't do it for yourself, because oftentimes it's like we don't love ourselves in these moments, so it's like, why would we do anything for ourselves? And healing is for yourself, but it's also for the other people in your life too. And even if you don't want kids or you don't have kids, it's like do it for your future partner or your siblings or your best friend. Like it impacts them as well. So like do it for other people too if like you don't have enough motivation to do it for yourself in the moment. But Anyway, that is everything that has helped me throughout this journey. And again, there's still highs and lows for sure. We're human beings, we're women. So it's not easy out there on social media, but I encourage you guys to really apply these if you can. I hope that you found this helpful. And I'm praying that you guys can restore and heal anything that you're going through. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Share this to your stories or send it to somebody that you think it could help, because I feel like there's a lot of power in this message. And I think more people need to understand, like, it's okay if we struggle with this, but there are tools and resources to help heal. And if it's super severe, like, seek professional medical help, like actually seek out that if it's like to a point where it needs to be. I'm grateful that my journey never got me to that point, but if it is, like, don't be ashamed to do that. Like, again, do it for yourself, do it for your future kids. But anyway, I love you guys so much, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.